Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Impact Wrestling, but a lot more than that, so don't change the channel just yet. We also have a SmackDown preview with Triple H calling in. Also, some news on an old tournament coming back as a premium live event. We've got info on the Elite's contract status. Will they or won't they walk away from AEW is the question at hand. And when can WWE start trying to get their hands on the Elite? But first, let's talk about this. The latest on the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund trying to get their hands on the WWE. Larson, what is the latest?
So here's the latest. This comes to you from Wrestling Observer newsletter. Dave Meltzer, of course, going back almost as soon as WWE announced that they were going to pursue what strategic alternatives, selling the company. There have been reports of interest from the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund. In fact, at one point, someone, I can't remember who it was at this time, said a deal was done. It's not.
Yeah.
That got out there. Anyway, This is the latest.
I believe that was Cassidy Haynes that tweeted that one out, that said the deal was done. And then, there was all sorts of pushback on that.
Yeah. So this is what Meltzer had to say in the newsletter. Quote, "We know someone involved on the Saudi side about the sale this past week, and there is definite interest. It's not considered as important as Formula One, which they wanted, but doesn't look like they can get, or Live Golf. They are looking for properties that they can get to either number one in their market, or in the case of their soccer investments, they want their league to be top 5 and have interest already in one team in the English Premier League and have interest in something with Manchester United. What they want are franchises that have a worldwide fan base, preferably big in the U.S., and they are not looking at them for revenue or profitability, but to bring publicity to their country and normalize the worldviews of their country. It's completely different from Endeavor or any other purchaser's goals would be, which would be to buy the company based on it being able to turn a gigantic profits. A Saudi purchase could change the salary structure more as it has with the top golf pros who left the GPA Tour. But as far as bidding for talent, it could totally change the game. If someone else gets it, you would expect far more changes in a budget based on maximizing profit, even for people like Tony Khan or Endeavor. While they could raise a lot of money, they'd be looking at it as a business acquisition, not a publicity arm, where making money long-term on the deal is the goal. That goes the same for media companies. While those in WWE have told me they prefer to sell to a media company, most stories indicate media companies aren't looking for the level of a purchase because of uncertainty over the future changes in consumption.
I think the emphasis there on is most media companies aren't looking for that level of a purchase because of uncertainty, meaning like, in
the 8 to 9 billions of dollars,
in the much more than than the Saudis would be willing to pay, because it seems like if their goal isn't, and this was sort of the concern, if the goal isn't, we need to make money, so we need to be careful how much we spend. If that's out the window, then all bets are off. I don't know, like, that Comcast or Amazon or whoever would be willing. I don't know that they would be willing to run up the price to the level, or that the Saudis would run up the price and they would be able to match them. And if the Saudis do run up the price, I don't know what would prevent WWE, especially in terms of, being beholden to their shareholders, which a large one is Vince, but there's plenty others. They're what do we call it? The fiduciary responsibility. Meaning, hey, I'm a shareholder. You need to get me the best deal for the best return on my investment. Then there's a very strong idea that could be the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which would come with it all sorts of issues for us fans of professional wrestling. I mean, the most popular guy right now, there's not a whole lot of debate on this, I think, is Sami Zayn. And of course, Sami Zayn is like one of the top people who Saudi Arabia doesn't want him. And he doesn't want to be part of the Saudi Arabia shows. And I know Dave Meltzer had speculated as well that would be absolutely one reason, and it makes sense. I mean, it's just common sense. That's one reason why WWE might be hesitant to run with him as top guy, because the Saudis, because of the relationship that already exists with, even if you take out a potential purchase, there are still 5 years left in that deal.
Of
I think it might be more than that. Probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah, maybe 6 or 7. Yeah. No, that's a good point. It's interesting, and I guess this kind of falls in line with, I think, the Bloomberg report about Vince's asking price for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And in that report, they said it was $9 billion. There was would-be buyers, business suitors, if you will, who are hesitant to maybe get into such a deal with WWE, knowing that Vince could be around. But if you add to that the changing nature of streaming and broadcasting, media rights, they've shot through the roof for live events over the last few years. Is that continued growth and reasonable to expect?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be a situation where year after year these rights contracts are going to keep going up and up? We're just seeing with the NBA that ESPN might be hesitant to re-up their deal. Same with TNT. You got a lot of these large media companies who are already losing money in their streaming properties.
Yeah, right.
And with a good degree of uncertainty about the global economy in the near future, people might not be willing to pony up $8-9 billion for a property like WWE, which, yes, over the last 20 years or so, 25 years, has been pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hardly the money-making enterprise I would think of something like Star Wars when Disney bought the Star Wars universe from Lucasfilms.
Yeah, right.
So it remains to be seen if Vince says $9 billion is what I want, and there's only one potential buyer at that price, and that's the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, and everything else is maybe $5 billion.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, whether WWE would prefer to sell to a media company or not in that juncture, it could be, again, the fiduciary duty where, all right, well, we got to take this deal.
Yeah, it depends on if the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and you can look at, I guess there is some precedent to see the answer here. If they were to take over the company, would they be able to get the proper distribution as owners that would accomplish their goals? Because if they obtain WWE, and suddenly, because it's the Saudi government, this is sort of doubly so if, and I know did Live Golf, didn't that recently get?
Yeah, they got a TV
right?
deal with CW. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like evidently they've been able to find distribution for their endeavors. I mean, I guess the only question is, would that price tag accomplish, would they be able to accomplish whatever goals they have? Do they think that would actually be worth it?
I would think part of spending that level of money on the company would mean that WB programming would still air on a network of scale to their satisfaction,
Yeah.
I'm sure when the Live Golf thing got started, they were hoping to get a broadcast deal with ESPN, ABC.
Yeah.
One of the larger networks that are especially known for sports.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. It took them a whole year before they got a TV deal, and was with the CW, which doesn't necessarily have the reputation for being a home for sports, live sports.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the CW has a pretty good reach in terms of number of households it's in, because it's a broadcast network. But at the same time, it's not NBC, it's not CBS, it's not ABC, it's not ESPN.
Yeah, it's not like, if they bought WWE and all of a sudden it was sort of a poison pill, that they'd be like, oh, we'll be fine with doing our own streaming service, the Saudi Public Investment streaming service, and we'll put WWE on there and everybody's going to follow us. I don't think that'd be the deal. They want to be on a big stage so they can do, best enact their sports washing, which is, has all sorts of problems to it.
Yes.
But I don't know. It is interesting, the more information that trickles out from this stuff. I don't know if it's like good news or bad news, or what to make of the idea that these tweets come out, and I think wasn't Steve Muehlhausen one of the others that said he might have been the initial one.
I think so.
But I know Cassidy Haynes also.
So. Yeah.
But I don't know, it seems like those tweets, that information came from somewhere, and I don't know how much, and I understand that they were debunked. There was no actual deal in place. You still get the sense that there was some fire where there was some smoke, that maybe there was a deal on the table that had been offered. And so that was out there. But then, who knows, people had to step in and say, well, we have to do our due diligence and make sure, everybody else has their say as well to make sure we get the best deal. But I don't know. It's all interesting stuff to keep an eye on at some point. At some point, we're just going to wake up one day and it's going to be, this deal is agreed to in principle, and then they're going to go from there, and it's going to be either, the Saudi Arabia government, or it's going to be, I don't know who else. I mean, there was somebody had mentioned that they thought, I think it was the CNBC had mentioned that they felt that Comcast wasn't, in the running at some point. In which case, I don't know who else would be in the running. I mean, it seemed to be
you'd think
the
in
most
a lot of
popular
respects
one.
they'd probably be the front runner.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But who knows what kind of jockeying is going on behind the scenes and in front of cameras to try to generate some degree of leverage to better the deal for themselves. Who knows? I just confirm, yes, it was Stephen Milhouse and Cassidy Haynes, and then it was debunked by Ariel Helwani.
Well, there you go. So I don't know, interesting stuff. You also gotta wonder, and I have no idea, but like, given just how many of the WWE talent would take issue with this. I
mean, just Pat McAfee alluded to it. He had a thing on Twitter about his future.
Yeah.
He was like, the company's for sale. Don't know who's going to buy it. That's going to
maybe affect. If like the meat of the company, if the talent involved in the company, would be sort of a poison pill into themselves, I don't know if that would ruin the deal. I have no idea. There's so many factors at play.
There are. Then if a deal is in place to sell to the public investment fund, then there's a chance that there's going to be a good portion of shareholders who might file suit to block the deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a possibility too.
Yeah, that could be.
So I mean, it's going to be a complicated deal regardless who buys it. But given a bunch of various factors, it seems even more complicated if they end up selling to public investment fund. It's going to be, the possibility exists. You're going to have talent walking out. You're going to have numerous lawsuits. Trying to accelerate the deal and also try to block it.
Yeah, right.
It just seems like it would potentially be very messy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If it's So anyways, let's talk about this. This is on the thumbnail. It's kind of a big deal because this is going to be 2024 is going to be a wild year in wrestling.
You got that right.
It really will be. I think 2023 is going to be crazy with the WWE sale, but in terms of talent and where they're going, I think that's going to be even more interesting. So in last week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer mentioned that WWE was making it a priority to sign a potential free agent, not Jay White. Shortly thereafter, WrestlingNews.co reported that this potential free agent that they were talking about was Kenny Omega. In this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer provided some details on when Omega and the Young Bucks contracts were set to expire. He said this: the free agent reference in last week's issue of the key guy WWE is looking at led to conjecture regarding Kenny Omega, which has been a name heavily talked about in certain circles in WWE and in other places in wrestling as well. Omega's AEW contract date was to have expired at the end of January, so about a month ago.
Yeah.
And he had a 4-year deal with no option clause to add time that started on February 1st, 2019. His contract does allow AEW to extend it for the time he was out injured, which has happened. He was out 9 months. So that would be a maximum of November, but the extended time frame hasn't been finalized as far as how long. Part of this is because the feeling Omega and the Young Bucks have a good shot of sticking together. Barry Bloom has been Omega's agent since his late 2018, early 2019 New Japan contract extended, and is also the agent that is expected to handle the Young Bucks deal at the end of this year. So I remember there was some chatter in early January of this year from Fightful Select. There was a report. This was on, I think it was like January 4th or something. I don't have the date here. But it said the Young Bucks, there was a feeling in the locker room, basically, I'm paraphrasing, that the Young Bucks were negotiating with AEW at the time for a new deal that would keep them in AEW for a long time. There was some ambiguity as to how long their initial deal was. On an episode of Being the Elite, the contracts were described as 4-year deals. However, it was reported that the Wrestling Observer had said that they had all signed 5-year deals when they first started. So kind of interesting. Like, obviously, like, the idea is that they probably stick together.
Yeah.
You've heard my silly conspiracy theory.
Yes.
Where would you go if you're the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega?
I mean, they're all. Well, I think Nick is still in his early 30s. I don't know if he's in his mid 30s yet, but Matt, Kenny, close to 40.
Yeah.
In certain regards, you think this would probably be their last contract, especially given the style that they wrestle. Last full-time contracts.
They'd have to change their style significantly.
Yeah.
And depending on the length of the contract.
Yeah. If they sign another 3 years, then maybe not. But, if it's a 5-year deal, if they want to get a few more years out of their career post this contract, then yes, they'd have to significantly alter how they wrestle. Anyways, I mean, I'm sure WWE will offer a ton of money, and I'm sure Tony Khan will offer as much as he possibly can to keep them around.
Mm-hmm.
So I would guess from a money standpoint, it probably wouldn't differ too significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. All right, do we want to have our last contract be on the largest stage possible? If they had dreams of being at WrestleMania or something like that, finally have an opportunity to fulfill that, or see three things through with this company that we helped build.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All I can really, going by how Kenny talked on the Swerve City podcast, they sound incredibly comfortable in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
They sound pretty comfortable with their spot in AEW currently. I mean, Kenny did say, he wants to, for him, it's about the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, that's kind of AEW's shortcoming, is telling compelling stories. Right now, until I hear something significant to change my mind, I would assume they would probably stay in AEW. That's just my take.
The thing that stood out to me is when Matt said the previous 2 months of being suspended were the worst of his life. And if that leaves a bad taste in his mouth, I don't know that he doesn't get wooed by WWE. They all seem to enjoy. I think some of it might, and the timing might be fortuitous for them, because by the time their contracts or by the time Kenny's contract is up and they're going to negotiate, number one, there will have been more time between having been suspended and that contract, and sometimes the time heals a bit of those wounds. But also, it's possible that the WWE sale will have been complete and done, and they'll have a much better idea as to what they would be dealing with going to WWE. And again, it's an interesting question to debate. We don't know them. Obviously, with Kenny's statements on Swerve's podcast, you got to take him at face value. But I don't know. Also you take a look at how WWE's treated Cody. And that's got to mean something. And with how Triple H has been running creative, that's got to mean something as well versus what Vince McMahon was doing. So I don't know. I think it's going to be very, very interesting come November, December, January. Exactly what's going to happen. But I don't know. They have done, AEW is sort of like the natural endpoint for their entire careers if you look at what they've done, because AEW is basically PWG and New Japan all just sort of rolled into one, and WCW all rolled into one. Well, if you got to think, man, people like that, very creative people, they're always looking for the next thing. And I don't know that those kind of people get comfortable, especially with the idea of, man, another 5 years in this place, when we've done everything there is to do, are their priorities more, I want to continue to build this place from a backstage standpoint and turn into something big? Or is their priority, I want to keep being out there and wrestling and doing interesting stuff for us? Then WWE would be a very enticing idea because it's something they haven't done. And you got to figure, man, people like that, they love the unknown. They love new challenges, new things to do. So I don't know. It's going to be there is still so many factors involved that it's really difficult to sort of be like, oh man, this seems clear as day.
Nothing's cut and dry about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when Adam Cole, when there are all sorts of reports coming out that, Vince is going to cut his hair, change his name, and make him Keith Lee's manager, it was like, this seems like an obvious choice.
Yes.
Like this dude's going to go to AEW with Kenny and the Young Bucks. Man, I don't know. If you're Tony Khan and they leave, do you change the name of the company?
All wrestling, man.
All right, just AW. Wow, AW. Bucking the 3-letter trend to a 2-letter trend.
Yeah.
AW. A&W. Hey, A&W.
Well, that they might run into some copyright trademark issues there. They're like, oh, root beer wrestling? Nah, this isn't what we are.
Yeah, man. If Kenny Omega wins this match, everybody in the crowd gets a free root beer float.
Oh, there we go. Now that's exciting.
That is very exciting.
That's how you get a fan base.
Absolutely.
Root beer floats.
Before we move on, let us know in the comments below, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube on demand, load up our comments. Where do you think Kenny and the Bucks are going to go? Where is the Elite going to are they going to stick around AEW? Are they going to go to Impact? Are they going to go to I don't know,
back to New Japan?
Are they going to go to Live Golf? Anyways, before we keep going with some news about the King of the Ring, let's mention this really quick. Today, Overrun, Larson and I are going to do top 10 finishers we would never want to take. Like the top 10 finishing moves we've seen in the world, past and present, that we would never, ever want to take. Of course, I wouldn't want to take any finisher, Larson, because I'm old, I'm out of shape, and nothing feels right on my body. But
no.
But these are the 10 that I definitely would say no to.
Well, it's 5 and 5, right?
You choose your 5, I choose my 5, and then we'll see if there's any overlap. So that's going to be on Overrun. And of course, also during Overrun today, we're going to do a Numbers Don't Lie. That's exclusively for YouTube channel members and patrons at $5 up a month. And that's going to be today at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to check that out. Also, channel members and patrons at $5 up a month get access to the upcoming AEW Revolution Predictions Challenge, where the digital Big Red title will be on the line, and you'll be able to compete for that. You get to send us whatever picture. If you win, you get to send us whatever picture you want, and then we'll put Big Red on it, and then we'll post it up on our waiting room here on Twitch, and we'll make a big deal about it on our Instagram and all that kind of stuff, our social medias.
Indeed.
So, and you get bragging rights. Be like, I'm top predicting friendo. That's what I am.
That's me.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that. Also, friendoshop.com. Get the latest Stephen Larson Going In Raw merchandise. You can use code RUMBLE to get 20% off. Got a bunch of great wares over there, including, what is this? Oh, the old school Friendo Club t-shirts there. You get that right there. That's the original. We got this Going In Raw. It's like the Attitude Era logo for the Raw, but it's Going In Raw.
Going In Raw.
Got a bunch of other stuff over there as well. So yeah, check all that stuff out.
Yes, please.
By the way, before we get started on this, I just posted question threads. So if you're watching this live on YouTube, there's a question thread up on the community tab. So run over there. If you're a channel member, you get priority. So your question's going to be asked on the show later on when we do questions after the Impact review. If you're a patron, head over there. And there's a question thread there.
We already got quite a few on the Patreon right now.
Oh, awesome. Okay, great.
Right here, right in front of my face.
You guys are doing well then. Yes.
Let's talk predictions, namely pay-per-views and premium live events that lead to prediction challenges. We know what to expect in May. There's going to be 2 of them, at least from WWE's perspective, in the month of May, because WrestleNomics' Brandon Thurston reports WB is scheduled Backlash, not WrestleMania Backlash, just Backlash, for May 6th, so that'll be the first pay-per-view post-WrestleMania.
Okay.
And then later that month, May 27th, Memorial Day weekend. That's usually a Double or Nothing weekend.
Oh, wow.
We'll see the return of King and Queen of the Ring.
Ah, wow.
So that's exciting stuff. Hopefully we'll get some portion of the tournament, whether it's the quarters, the semis, and the finals for each tournament during the actual show. I miss the days when the tournament was most of the show.
I know. No, absolutely. Yeah. A single show tournament You do men's, women's, that would be awesome. That'd be really spectacular. So looking at the land right now, I've got a firm name for who I would love to see be 2023 King of the Ring. I haven't thought about the Queen of the Ring yet, but who would you want to see as King of the Ring in 2023?
Oh, King Switchblade, Jay White.
Oh, I like that. I was going to go with Montez Ford. I think he had a terrific showing in Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I think if we didn't see him on Raw, you probably should have. But if they continue this thread of Montez getting singles victories, leading to the breakup of the Street Profits, I think that'd be a terrific showcase for him. I think that you could really make a new star. As we've seen in the past, man, King of the Ring has been pivotal to making stars.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since it was like that. But
hopefully now Triple H has the book. Get back to that direction, because I think there was a point where winning King of the Ring was a deal
in his history, especially. He is a former King of the Ring, and he was supposed to win it the year that Austin won it, but he had to say goodbye to his friends at Madison Square Garden instead.
Yep, indeed.
But what about for the women's Queen of the Ring?
If Damage Control end up breaking up this spring, have EO win.
Oh, what a great idea. Oh, I can't beat that. That's a really good one. I like that. That's good. Queen EO. Oh, that's good. I like that. You want to talk about Impact Wrestling?
Sure. It was bookended by two really awesome matches. That opening tag bout was great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was actually a can they coexist match because Gresham and Mike Bailey are opponents at the No Surrender kickoff show tomorrow.
And that's so weird that it's in the
today. Actually, it's today.
Oh, that's right. It's Friday. Yeah.
And they actually coexisted really damn well.
I'm not huge on them doing the shows on Fridays, man.
Yeah, I'm not either.
It's in the middle. It's just during SmackDown.
I know.
So then it's like if we want to be like, hey, you guys want to do a watch along? Everybody's just going to be watching SmackDown.
Yeah, I know.
It's a drag.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do on Saturday anymore.
Bring it back to Saturdays, man. Bring it back to Saturdays.
Indeed.
I wonder if it's an availability thing, because so many of those wrestlers have dates on the weekends.
That could be.
So they can double dip. They can do the Impact show on Friday.
Usually they'll have their pay-per-view on Friday and then they'll do taping Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Maybe that's why, because they figured, hey, we can tape on Saturday and Sunday and we'll do the show on Friday. Everybody's going to be there. We had a super chat here from iPlanes Drifter saying strong chance Vince thought AEW and ANW are the same. God damn it. I love root beer floats and farts. That opening tag match was really great. And then it's kind of crazy. I kind of feel like, and they do this, man. They put like crazy good shit on their regular TV for an audience of 80,000 maybe. Yeah. It's been lower than that lately. It's been like 80. I think the last time I saw was like 87,000.
Is that their access rating?
That's the access rating. Yeah.
Well, I wonder what the numbers are on YouTube.
Oh man, easily 30. I don't know. People have to pay for it. People don't pay like paying shit on YouTube.
Oh, it's only $1.
It is $1. The Monsters Ball match was awesome. Was awesome.
Yeah, brutal, bloody, creative, really fun bout. Yeah,
all that.
Normally I'm really into the beat the clock challenges.
Yeah,
I love them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's your jam.
And I like that they use the beat the clock challenge on Impact. However, the prize for winning the beat the clock challenge is like the most underwhelming thing I can imagine. Being able to speak first on a live edition of Busted Open Radio at No Surrender.
Yeah, that was pretty lame. Not gonna lie. You know what I really want to do? I would really love to explore this idea more. You and I, we at some point at Action Coast, we got to turn on each other. But then everything is totally cool, like viciously turn on each other.
Yeah.
But then like just ruin each other, right?
Yeah. Like you bring some Del Taco and I take it from you. I throw it in the garbage,
Right. Yeah. Or like, oh, hey, I bought your house out from under you or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But then here on the show.
No physicality because we're not going to do that. But yeah.
We don't do that, but every other way. But here on the show, everything is great.
Yeah. Everything's super cordial. We don't reference it.
Yeah. That's a bit silly. The whole who gets to talk first, because it's like, dude, just do what we do, interrupt each other.
Yeah, totally.
Matt, you want to talk first? Sure, go ahead, and I'm gonna interrupt you mid-sentence, mid-thought.
That's totally what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
It's totally what's gonna happen. Anyways, this as a go-home show. I mean, I like the backstage bit. So they had a creative approach to contract signings. Don't show them sign the contract.
That was hilarious. They showed the aftermath of the contract signing, and it was all cordial until what's his face, Josh Alexander, had to basically tell Rich Swann, you don't have that killer instinct. It's like, oh man, I know you kicked me on accident. I know you ain't got it in you. But he just meant, I know you're not an asshole. And then Rich Swann was like, whoa, buddy, hold on a second. Turns out I am an actual asshole, and I'm going to prove it to you at no surrender.
Yeah. I like that. That was good. Because, it took several kind of tropes in wrestling and kind of turned them on their head a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
How often do we see someone get kicked accidentally or hit accidentally by their tag partner and or someone who they thought that was their friend, and then lose their shit about it? But it was obviously an accident. It was nice to see Josh Alexander say, not a huge deal. I know it was an accident. Don't worry about it.
Not a big deal.
Which is the point. He's like, I know you wouldn't do that in the head of the match.
Right. And Rich Swann was
like that. Rich Swann was like, oh, you don't think I have that in me?
Yeah.
Think
You're
again.
Wrong. Yeah. And I like that. I like that he said, and his main point was, I don't want you going into this match thinking that I don't want to catch you off guard with my killer instinct.
Yeah.
I want you expecting me to bring the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get you at 100% when I beat you for that title.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what, man? Every time they've got something, any match, they always do their best to like really bring nothing. Look, it's a foregone conclusion that Josh Alexander is going to win, but they never treat it like it's a foregone conclusion, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. They always try to add some little wrinkle in the story or a stipulation in the match that makes you think, You combine that with the fact that Josh is now the longest reigning Impact champ.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, any show, they could set something up where, it's conceivable that he loses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's had the belt for so long.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can jump into it. Kicked off with Mike Bailey, Jonathan Gresham, opponents at No Surrender Kickoff Show, partners on Impact.
Right, correct.
Taking on Motor City Machine Guns.
Motor City.
Fantastic bout. They gave it tons of time. All four guys delivered. This shit was great.
And in this case, opponents, tag team, they did accidentally, they avoided it once, I think, or twice. And then, Jonathan Gresham accidentally lays out Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yep. And so then Sabin hits Gresham with the cutter. And then Motor City Machine Guns hit Gresham with double super kicks and dirt bomb to get the win.
Motor City. After that, we had a Rich Swann, Josh Alexander video package, and then Deonna Purrazzo had a promo. She said, I want to thank Giselle Shaw for proving that you are the problem in every team you force yourself in. I have a problem with you taking credit as to why my best friend isn't here any longer. Let me give you some advice. I didn't become the most successful knockout of all time thanks to luck. And then
they have a match at No Surrender, too.
Yeah, so I'm going to take your arm.
Yeah, so they would break your arm or something like that.
Then she said the worst punishment you get isn't just a bowl of chili spilled on you. It's your arm broken by me, Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah.
Mathematician / musician.
Every time I see those bowls of chili being thrown at people, I was like, man, that's probably a good bowl of chili they're wasting.
Oh, I want some cornbread with it, man.
I know.
That sounds good.
I'm making chili and cornbread tomorrow.
Ew.
Next, we got Jason Hotch versus Tommy Dreamer. This is the first Beat the Clock challenge match.
Yeah.
Before the match, John Schuyler has a promo. Says, you're all asking the question, who's going to win the Beat the Clock challenge match sooner, Bully Ray or Tommy? But the question you got to ask yourself is, what happens if Tommy doesn't even win at all?
That's a good point.
Then Tommy goes to win in 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Getting a second rope Death Valley driver.
Yeah.
Not competitive in the least.
No, not at all. No. Mm-hmm. Probably should be. Tommy Dreamer super old. After that, we are at a Joe Hendry meet and greet where he's, pressing the flesh with the fans. That means that's handshakes,
shaking
right?
Shaking hands, yes.
Right.
Yes.
It sounds like something sexual, pressing the flesh.
It wasn't that. No, not at all.
No, it wasn't a Joe Hendry orgy.
No. I expected some sort of swerve or something for like Moose to show up and ruin the fun, but didn't happen.
Nah, man. It was just Joe Hendry and the Impact regulars having a good old time. Again, not an orgy, but say his name
and he appears.
I want an orgy with Joe Hendry. Yeah. So, yeah, he was just saying they were all just like, genuflecting over Joe Hendry. I thought for sure somebody was going to be like, fuck you, Joe. Moose is awesome.
Yeah.
And then he drops him.
I was actually expecting Moose to say that.
Yeah, Moose shows up with a Joe Hendry shirt and an Impact hat. And he's like, hey, who thinks that Joe Hendry's going to beat Moose at No Surrender? Everybody's like, yeah. And then you hear Moose say, I don't. Then he spears him through a table.
Yeah. Yeah, I was expecting something like that to happen. Didn't happen. Then we got Taya Valkyrie taking on Allison Kay, Rosemary, and Jessica. Were ringside for Taya.
Mm-hmm.
Marty Bell ringside for Allison Kay. So down towards the finish, Allison Kay is looking for a pile driver. Taya escapes, looks for Road to Valhalla, her finish, but then Marty Bell gets on the apron to distract her. She lets go of Allison.
Mm-hmm.
That allows Allison to hit her finish, AK-47, to get the win.
That is right. Does that mean, that's like some solid go-home math, right? Because they got that match against the Death Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Court Fightful Select, the Hex are not actually signed with Impact, but that's never stopped Impact from trading titles.
Nope.
And half the time their go-home math doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. They've created a whole new go-home math.
Yeah, it's the Impact go-home math.
Yes. It's like Common Core for wrestling.
Good reference. Any parent out there knows the nightmare that is Common Core math.
You got that right. Next, we got the Rich Swann, Josh Alexander post-contract signing. And it was funny because Santino's like, all right, no one told me I'd do contract signings now that I was director of authority. And he literally closes the folio and leaves.
Yeah, that was pretty good. She's like, that was easy. And he leaves. Yeah. And then Swan and Alexander, they're all cool to each other. Like, oh, man, that was great. Let's go get some Subway. And Rich Swann was like, hey, man, I just want to let you know about last week. And Josh was like, hey, don't worry about it. I know you didn't do it on purpose. I know you have it. I know you don't have it in you. And he's like, whoa, wait a second. Before I go get my $5 footlong, he says,
they don't have those anymore, Steve.
Well, Rich Swann doesn't know that. Oh. He says, look, we're friends, but Josh, he's like, you're the last person I think that have that come out of your mouth. We've both battled adversity. He says, you don't think I have it in me? He says, it took everything in me to come back and win the Impact title. And at No Surrender, know that since you're going to go into the fight of your life for the top prize in our industry, he says, it's been 2 years since I got a shot at that title. I'm going to bust my ass to get that. And I hope you know that when I regained the title, it wasn't because you took your eye off the ball. It's because Rich Swann did have it in him. And then Macklin steps in. He said, not sorry for interrupting, guys.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But I want you both to know, now that we're in this nice conference hall at whatever hotel we're at, I'm winning #1 contender match. We all know you're going to choke Rich. And then Rich just attacks Macklin. And then the security comes in to break it up.
Yeah, it was a good segment. Next, we got the Design members, Diener and Callahan, taking on Frankie Kazarian and Yuya. So this was interesting in the finish. Of course, Callahan is trying to do the 5 steps to complete his initiation into the Design. So the match kind of breaks down. Kazarian's in. He's looking for a chicken wing on Callahan. Callahan escapes, hits a power bomb. And he's looking for a cactus driver. And Diener's in the corner and goes, stop.
No, do it.
He says, tag me in. So Sammy goes over to tag him in, and the Diener pulls his hand back and drops off the apron.
What?
And so Kazarian rolls up Callahan. Callahan kicks out. Callahan looks for his own roll-up. Kazarian kicks out the chicken wing, and Sammy has to tap. And then we get this great video package about the story between Mickey and Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich. It was awesome stuff.
Yeah, it was really good.
And then we get Sammy's backstage. He goes to confront Diener. He's like, tell me how that is step 5. And Diener
Hold on
says,
a second. Well, can I just do the Sammy voice here?
Sorry.
Can you tell me how that was step 5?
So then Diener says, well, I was showing you that this is a covenant. This isn't a contract where one person can break it and walk away. Step 5 is about loyalty and to prove that you remain loyal to Design. Will you remain loyal?
Yes!
Then Diener says, well, that's the right choice. You've already made it farther than I thought you were. I thought you were trying to infiltrate and tear this down. You still might, But tomorrow, at No Surrender, when Khan steps in the ring with Kazarian, you're going to have 2 steps left. You don't choose to be a part of the design. The design chooses you.
He doesn't ever let him do the thumbs up, thumbs down. Dean always he's like, no, you don't do your catchphrase here. This is the design.
I mean, you gotta assimilate with the design.
So I love that Diener's I'm pretty sure you're here to take us down from the inside.
Yeah.
But you're kind of a big deal. So
meh.
Yeah, whatever. We'll let you we'll let you in on all of our secrets.
Yeah. We'll teach you the design. That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
If you change our design, so be it.
Yeah, there's no compete clause here for the design. If you go somewhere else, you can use our ideas.
This is design is open source.
Design is free to play.
Yeah.
After that, we had Bully Ray versus Bhupinder Gujjar, and this was the other beat the clock challenge.
Yes.
And he beats it. Bully wins here. It's thanks to some what are they called? The good hands, Skylar and Hotch.
Good hands. Yeah.
Yeah, Skylar and Hotch. They distract stuff, and Bully gets the win before Tommy got his wind.
Yeah, he wrapped some chain around his fist and then punched Bhupinder with it.
So that made Bhupinder pretty sad. So he's backstage, and he's like, Tommy, hey, dude, sorry, I don't want to tell you. Tommy's like, hey, yeah, you got that bad feeling. Use it to your advantage. Use it to drive you to be better every day. Every time you get knocked down, you get back up and keep fighting, Rock. You got greatness in you. Yeah. The one person that needs to see this is you, Rock. Gives him the old Mickey from Rocky speech.
Yep. Then we got our main event, Crazy Steve versus Trey Miguel, Monsters Ball. This match was an absolute blast.
Holy crap, this was a fun match. Although I will say this, though. For Crazy Steve, I kind of get this because he's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's in his name.
But Trey Miguel, you're locked in a room, Monsters Ball. And throughout the episode, they were showing, here's Trey Miguel locked in the room. They got the night vision thing. The idea is you're locked in a room for 24 hours.
No food, no water.
Right, no showers. You got to pee and poo in the corner.
Sounds like that thing Aaron Rodgers did for a few days.
Right, yeah. And so Trey Miguel comes out, and he doesn't really sell the effects. I forget the last time what was the last Monster Ball?
Moose? Was Sammy and Moose.
And Moose especially, because Sammy's crazy. He's like, whatever, I feed on this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think Sammy probably snuck in some Twinkies or something into the room. But Moose, playing by the rules, didn't know he could do that first time. And he was super selling. He comes out, he's all like, it's all bright lights, and he's stumbling into stuff. Trey Miguel comes out, he does a spray paint thing. He comes down, he's looking around, he's like, wow, this is all crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Got to sell being in a room for 24 hours.
Because when they showed the footage of him in the room, he was selling being in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, really fun match. About halfway through, Trey brings some thumbtacks, dumps him in the ring, and then Crazy Steve hits a black hole slam on the thumbtack. Shout out to Abyss. Covers and then pulls up Trey at 2, and then he blasts Trey with the trash can. Trey responds with the flurry of strikes, stomps Steve into the tacks, gets a 2 count there. Trey sets up a table in the corner. They hit each other with double clotheslines, and then Trey goes under the ring, gets a giant bolt. It's I don't know, a good 10-inch bolt.
Yeah.
And then Crazy Steve gets a 2x4 covered with nails.
Oh, yeah, that was
another
awesome.
Shout out to Abyss.
Yeah.
So Steve takes a swing with the 2x4. Trey ducks that, hits Crazy Steve with the bolt, but then Steve responds with Death Valley Driver through the table, gets a 2 count with that.
Yeah.
So Steve puts Trey at the top rope looking for a superplex. Trey escapes and then pins Steve's head against the turnbuckle. Cheeky Nando's super kick. 619 goes for a splash, misses, and then Steve hits the destroyer off the second rope onto a chair, gets a 2 count there.
Yeah.
So then Steve gets that 2x4 with the nails on it, starts digging it into Trey's head.
Yeah.
Brings Trey out to the apron. On the floor, there's a huge piece of wood with barbed wire on it. And then so Trey ends up hitting a crossroads onto that piece of wood with all the barbed wire, puts Steve back in the ring, covers him to get the win.
And Crazy Steve just starts laughing.
Crazy Steve.
Yeah, because he's crazy. That was really good stuff, though, man. That match.
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions. I know you got a bunch on the Patreon. Let me see.
I do.
Let me see. We got here.
Here we go. Alex Foster asks, is Theory's push getting him over? I know he wins a lot, but a lot of people tell me they still don't care. They're not convincing wins.
Yeah, I know.
Far too often he's like handed victory on a platter.
So he's not as I think. So it was actively like the creative for him under Vince was actively bad. You know, it was like outwardly bad. I don't think his creative now is bad. It's just sort of non-existent. It feels like they're not really doing much besides him saying the same thing over and over again. And it's not off-putting necessarily, but it also doesn't stand out.
You know,
so it's not doing him any favors.
Yeah, when he had the failed cash in and they pivoted to this more aggressive Austin Theory, you're hoping, okay, this is the first step in continued growth of the character.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then he more or less accidentally won the U.S. title. A lot of his title defenses, circumstances have kind of led to him just winning. I mean, just look at Elimination Chamber. Logan Paul handed him the victory there, and that one over Seth. Yeah. So there's not a whole lot of character growth, and he's not winning in convincing fashion.
Yeah, he's not. It's like he's a bystander in his own matches. And yeah, it's not impressive, and I just think that people just don't know like really how to respond to him. They're still not giving them anything to respond to. Whereas before it was like they're giving us a reason to not want to see him, which I guess is an improvement. But you know, if this guy is supposed to be like the face of your company, you gotta do a little bit more of them.
Yeah, you gotta do a lot more.
Roy Costin here says, for King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, do you want to see the single show tournament?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Or at least quarterfinals onward. You could have qualifying matches to get to the quarterfinals. But,
right, yeah. Jonathan Vieira, who would you put in a modern day version of the Edge versus Booker T shampoo commercial feud?
Wow.
What a very specific question
that is a very specific question.
I don't know.
I don't remember that feud at all.
Yeah,
that's probably happened when I really wasn't watching. It
sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know who's the modern day Edge. Finn Balor.
I was gonna say
Seth. Okay, Seth. And who's the modern day Booker T? God, is there a modern day Booker T? He was so unique. How about this? Seth Rollins versus modern day Booker T.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I like it. Angelic Wolf, who do you think will win a world title first, Carmelo Hayes or Montez Ford?
Oof.
Who has a leg
up? NXT title a world title?
No. I think.
Gosh, that's tough. That's kind of a toss-up.
I'm gonna go with Carmelo because he doesn't have to dig his way out of a hole of being in a tag team.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Blake Whitehouse, what are your favorite matches and storylines from 205 Live?
Oh man,
Buddy
Matthews
with Buddy Murphy.
Well, I was gonna say Buddy Murphy feuding with a scale.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Cedric and Ali's feud. That was good stuff.
I thought setting up Drew Gulak and Enzo Amore. I thought that could have been really, really good, and they dropped the ball on it. Yeah.
Neville lost the title to Enzo, and he was devastated.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. There was some good stuff on 205. I used to enjoy watching that show in its
There
heyday.
was some good stuff on 205, yeah.
They had some established characters. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Luis Ariza asks, who are the never going back wrestlers you see coming back to WWE? Luis mentions Pac and Miro. I would be surprised if Miro goes back.
I wouldn't be surprised if Miro goes back. I wouldn't be surprised if Mox went back.
Also, Luis asks, better cookie, Oreo or Chips Ahoy?
Ooh, I'm going to go
Chewy Chips Ahoy. It's easy. It's Chewy Chips Ahoy.
I'm going to go with Oreo. I love dunking
Oreo
those.
Guy.
I know. I love dunking those things in milk. It's so good. Jeremy says, with rumors of WWE putting plants in to boo Braun, what's the percentage Braun turns heel and keeping his title at Stand and Deliver and Carmelo getting called up? No.
Maybe 50-50.
I think they did that just to push Jinder's narrative for the feud. I don't know if they're going to follow through much with that, but maybe 132%.
All right, there you go. Mayor Planet Houston here says, Tony Khan and Scott D'Amore switch places.
Yeah.
AEW gets a better booker, but Impact gets Tony Khan's money. which show is now the better show? If the rosters are the same as it is now, AEW is a better show.
Oh yeah, for sure, 1,000%. Yeah. I mean, where does AEW get their money from then? Does just Scott D'Amore? Anthem.
But everybody under contract now is already under contract.
Okay. Yeah, AEW is a better show immediately, and then they get that sweet TV deal, and then Scott D'Amore gets to profit. We got a super chat here from Credence and Bishop Show. Says, if you got offered an all expenses paid WrestleMania weekend, including SmackDown, Hall of Fame, and Raw, from a fan that you have to spend the weekend with, would you do it? Nope. Mm-mm. He says they got that offer. No, I wouldn't do that. It's for it's up to you, obviously. But I'm saying them. I would not do that. I mean, number one, it kind of depends on the fan, but number two, we got a job to do here, so we can't just be palling around. Is it enforcer? Is the enforcer that fan? Is he ponying up? I wouldn't want him to pony up all that money.
No, I wouldn't want to. And that's another aspect, though. Anybody who said, I'll pony up for your whole weekend, I was like, no, don't do that.
What if they have $400 million in the bank?
No, I still don't do that. They can use that money for other things. Don't spend it on me.
Let's see here. Wayne Roberts.
Got a bunch of, sorry. Go ahead. You got it. You're on it.
Wayne Roberts. New YouTube channel member. It's okay. See, that's what we do. It's okay. Remember, somebody got on me for that before in the YouTube comments fairly recently. Said, I can't watch this anymore. No, actually, it wasn't just me. One person said, can't watch it anymore. They just talk over each other.
Yeah, I saw that too. Was it the same person who was giving me crap about living a normal life with $400 million?
That was funny. Come on, that was funny. There is humor in that one. I think that's how I read it, but maybe they were like, this guy's full of shit. But then there was a response to that, and somebody said, no, that seems on brand for Larson. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Big Country also rejoined as a member, but also gifted a membership here in the chat to Naomi Randall. Thank you so much, Big Country. That's right. You can gift memberships here on the YouTube now, which is kind of great. Yeah.
Zach Beckett gifted a membership too.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You want to take this one?
Dethronic78 with a super chat says, Elite should lose their titles to House of Black, then build a story with Kenny and Ibushi against the Young Bucks at Forbidden Door 2. Yeah, apparently Forbidden Door 2 is it's been scheduled by Spectrum for June 24th.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, Big Country also gifted one to Dominic Webb. Thank you very much. So much. And Zach Beckett gifted one as well to Fuzzy Dunlop. Thank you very much. That's
Thank
you,
everybody, for those gifted memberships. That's awesome. Cruz here asks, the brand split is technically still not over. If Rhea beats Charlotte, is she going to SmackDown with or without Judgment Day? Should be with. Keep Judgment Day together.
It's got to be with. It's absolutely got to be with. That'd be a Vince thing if they split them up. Nah, man, I think Triple H likes them together.
JR Jr. has a question for Triple H. Maybe we should wait till Triple H is on Zoom to ask.
Yeah, we can wait. Yeah, we can wait on that one.
Mountain Bike Jesus says, I'll be at SmackDown tonight. Oh, please ask Paul what we can expect from LA Knight.
Yeah. Hey, fuck you says, how would you introduce Cameron Grimes when he's called up?
That's weird. They seemingly can't crack creative for him.
Yeah, no, that is weird.
Just have Miss Stonks guy. That worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Have him called up as NXT superstar Cameron Grimes.
Yes, that would be good. Yeah.
Moses supposes, would you rather Roman disappear for a bit after he loses the title or become Balloon Roman? Good reference.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Balloon Okada was great.
By the way,
devastated.
Big Red Predictions Challenge champion. Moses supposes has that question.
Yes.
Sort of out of it, just wants to go on vacation, depressed, half depressed, dealing with it. Roman. Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with Balloon Roman.
Yeah, that'd be good. High Plains Drifter, who would each of you book for Switchblade's first WWE feud if he goes?
Cody.
If he's healthy, AJ Styles.
Oh, that's good too.
And I think that's all I got over here.
All right, man. Well, I have a whole stack. It's like a little stack of paper.
Oh, of course you do.
So I'm going to go ahead and do that while you take this call.
Looks like you're about to read a comic book. What is that?
It's my paperwork.
Looks like a Batman.
Nah, it's paperwork. It looks like a comic book, but it's actually paperwork. Looks like a Batman Spawn comic book.
Oh, Batman Spawn.
Hello, why you're interrupting me already? I walk into this phone call. Why are you stop visually interrupting me now?
Well, no,
I know that you're just doing that to get under my skin. I don't like it.
There was a sound I heard over there. I didn't know what it was.
You're gonna end up like Salmon Bear. Pedigree.
All right. Well, there's a SmackDown tonight.
Oh, yes. I have been working on this for ages. I've been working on this since my magnum opus Elimination Chamber went down, and it's the most of everything. 300% more, but better in social media. 200% more, but better at the gate. Biggest Elimination Chamber ever viewed by man and woman, and the most global Elimination Chamber. All the metrics in my favor. I'm untouchable. I'm bulletproof. It's the best Elimination Chamber in history.
All right. How's that going to lead into SmackDown, though? What can we expect from SmackDown tonight?
Huge SmackDown. Number one, Charlotte Flair comes face to face with Rhea Ripley. They're going to breathe on each other. They're going to get each other's faces and start coughing on each other. Yeah. It's a very intense rivalry. You're going to attack each other with germs.
Oh, wow.
Bacteria. Don't interrupt me. Also, the Firefly Funhouse returns to SmackDown. We want to be your friend who loves Bray Wyatt with a bunch of puppets. Firefly Funhouse, it's the time.
Dun, 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 dun,
dun, break it down, puppets and Bray Wyatt, dude, Husky Harris.
There we go. All right, what else we got?
Rey Mysterio's going to battle once again, Karrion Kross. We're just doing a rematch.
Kross going to get the win here?
At some point, you think Kross would get the win, but I don't know. Here's the thing. Dom Mysterio's going to be there also, so expect some shenanigans. Karrion Kross needs all sorts of help to get a win. No wonder he's bitching about me in the press. You want to see what we can? You want us to see what you can do, Karrion Kross? Maybe win a match here and there.
I mean, it's still better than when he came out wearing a bucket and suspenders.
We don't have some crappy YouTube show where you can pad your stats.
Wow.
It's a big time or nothing, Karrion Kross talking shit about me on social media, interviews, and so on and so forth.
All right. Then also says here, Braun, Ricochet, and Madcap Moss take on Imperium in 6-man tag team action. Is Madcap Moss in this match to take the pin?
Let's see here. Braun said, no. Imperium. No, that's what Vittoria guy is. What's his name? Vinny Vici. Vinny Vici is going to be taking the pin here because here's the thing. Madcap Moss is going to pin Vinny Vici. That's what's going to happen. Oh, wait. I shouldn't be spoiling the ending here. Nobody's going to watch.
Madcap Moss will get distracted by the crowd.
No, because he's going to lose to Gunther, so he's got to win here. That was last week. We already did that match.
Yeah.
That was terrible. That's how forgettable that match was. So, yeah, I don't know. He's got to get a win at some point. We're doing this backwards. What is AEW? We're doing this backwards. We should have done this before the Gunther match.
Taking inspiration from the Ricky Starks, Chris Jericho story. Hey, JR Jr., one of our patrons, has a question for you.
Oh, yeah, JR. Oh, man. I have a question for you about JR. When is he going to come on that? Just do it. Bring JR. Come on. You get to hear about us.
If Steve wants to do it with JR,
you are
he
Steve.
Can do it.
Are you talking about Fat John Cena?
Sure. I'm not talking to JR.
Listen, he'll talk to you about his sexual exploits.
Don't care.
About his horny erect penis.
Don't care.
You can ask him about pre-cum.
Don't care.
You can ask him about all sorts of exploits, sexual or otherwise.
Not interested. Don't care.
He'd be like, oh, here, we'll practice. We'll role play. I'll be JR. Oh, man.
Damn it.
Oh, man. Have you ever had a finger in your booty? Oh, man. Try it. It's great. All right, what does Junior JR man have to say?
What is your favorite team you're a part of?
Oh, man, I've got so many great teams I've been a part of. Evolution, D-Generation X, the Corporation, the Corporate Ministry, the Clique.
About Two-Man Power Trip.
Two-man power trip me in Austin, but I didn't like that because I had to be the Intercontinental Champion. I don't play second fiddle to anybody. Break it down. Triple H is number one. Never second fiddle. My favorite group I've ever been
What about
a part
the Shield?
of.
You remember the Shield for one show,
Dude, how so did
Game
it
of Games.
count? Not canon. Let's see. I find it funny that this question is giving me such fits because I feel like it's probably the Clique, because we used to travel the road together and have all sorts of sexual exploits, and then we'd be in like a limo and they'd be like, oh my gosh, look at all this going on. It's like, Caligula,
It sounds like your time in Evolution.
Yeah, that was like a direct inspiration. Evolution was basically
Like
just
Caligula.
like just like, it was like all the horny exploits of in real life Clique, trains and stuff. And then, and then we brought that over to Evolution. We brought it over to Evolution.
Wow, this is getting pretty
spicy.
pretty graphic. Yeah,
you guys got to boost your numbers on your stupid podcast. So I got to bring the heat. Who wants to talk about
this? Might be a bunch of terms of service violations.
Oh no,
you might get our channel deleted.
Yeah, man. You guys want to put this show on RedTube?
I was hoping you'd say, "Hey, do you want if I lose your jobs for you guys, you want to come work with me?" That's what I thought you were going to say.
Oh no, you're not gonna. You would hate it here, especially with the sale coming up. Man, Dad's gonna be back in charge. He's gonna be worse than ever. He's gonna hear me walking down the hall. He's gonna be like, "Hey, how's it going, sexy?" And it's like, "Oh my God, I can't do anything." Yeah. Oh, it's horrible working here. It's terrible.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good day, Triple H. I hope you have a good one, and looking forward to SmackDown tonight.
Oh, you're trying to get me out of here. I know what you're doing.
I'm sure you're busy, so I don't want to take any more of your time.
You're interrupting. Triple H is getting too spicy. All right, I gotta go because I'm gonna get in trouble. All right. He's gone.
Holy shit.
Oh, man, this Batman comic book is hilarious. That's why I'm laughing right now. How did the call go?
I don't usually associate Batman with humor.
How did the call go?
Triple H was definitely on one today.
Really? Was he super horny today?
It was very graphic at moments.
Oh,
yes.
my gosh. He didn't talk about trains, did he?
Yeah,
like the choo-choo, traveling and stuff. Trains you can get on.
Those weren't the type of not the type of trains he was talking about. No.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. We're going to have to put this show on RedTube at some point, man.
That's what he said. Hopefully we still have a channel after this episode goes up.
No kidding. That is, man. Look, all these people popping for horny Triple H, apparently. We got to bring him back more often.
No. You got to bring him back.
I mean,
you got to bring him back? Is that what you said?
No, he's got to, you got to entice him a bit. Oh, man. Crazy stuff. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today because it's out of control. I can tell. I wasn't even here for it, and I can tell it's out of control looking at chat right here.
Took part of it.
Yeah, man. So, anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.